Here we have the December Tackle Club COD box. Let's start off with the top water. My favorite way to fish, frog fishing. Here we have the Chase Baits Big Bobbin Frog. This thing is super lifelike, and you'll see that with the little legs on it, which essentially gives it a very unique swimming action. So cast this one in, give it a twitch, plenty of pauses, plenty of long pauses. But with that twitching action, essentially is going to make these legs sort of kick out and then retract back to normal again. Kick out and retract back to normal again. Making this look like a super realistic, super lifelike swimming frog that is just gonna get boofed. He's trying to get to the other side of the river, but may not if a big cod is there waiting for a froggy French cuisine. That's the Chase Baits Bobbin Frog, so super weedless as well. The two weedless hooks on the back allows you to skip it up or cast it up under some overhanging willows or some heavy structure. Twitch it back out, don't forget the pauses. But yeah, awesome frog. My favorite way to fish. Generally when I'm chasing big river cod, I'm looking at a big frog presentation, and this is a good one. Then we move over to another surface one from our mates at Chase Baits, the Drunken Mullet. So this is a big prop bait essentially, with a little joint in between the body if you haven't fished with these before. But they are a big long pencil bait with a big propeller on the back. So what that propeller does is on the slow roll, that propeller is going to just chop up the water, create a good bubble trail, and just make this thing roll, twitch, move all over the place. Another way you can fish it is with a rip and a pause. So a big rip, big pause, big rip, big pause. But for the cod that we're targeting at the moment with this, I'm just going to do a slow roll and pause. So cast it up to where I think these fish are holding, let it hit the water, pause it, wait, do a slow roll, get it out of there, pause while you're still in that sort of strike zone. If nothing, continue the slow roll, pause again. Now, if you're casting maybe along a bank or along a lay down, you don't have to be so specific with the pauses. Feel free just to keep that slow roll going. So just keeps just disturbing up the water. Hopefully draws up a big bite, and woof, got yourself an exciting top water hit. Then we move over to chasing big fish in the timber. And we've got a good option here for you from our mates at Spin Lures. This is a big spinnerbait essentially. Now we always love to include spinnerbaits because they're the number one go-to lure for cod and for a lot of our freshwater species because they're so snag resistant. You can get them in deep, you can let them sink down, you can cover all sorts of depths in the water column. They're absolutely fantastic. So this one does come pre-rigged with a big paddle tail, soft plastic on the back of it, as well as a little assist hook inside the plastic coming out the back near the tail. So if you're getting short struck, you're still probably going to hook them up and land them anyway. And then the next one is a little bit different. It looks a little bit unique as opposed to the standard spinnerbaits. There's another Spin Lures spinnerbait. It's just got two smaller blades on the back that'll still spin, vibrate, flash. But if you look carefully in front of it, it's got these big plastic propellers. So these things are going to be just spinning like nuts, just sending heaps of vibration out. And the wire frame on this spinnerbait is actually a split frame as well. So holding those blades apart. It's also going to be fairly snag resistant because of this build too. So obviously Spin Lures are Australian made for Australian species. These ones are made with big cod in mind. So you don't have to worry about the structure of the lure, knowing that it is built specifically to chase these fish, not a Japanese or American or Alibaba import, if I can say that here, I don't know. It's not a cheap import, it is made here for the species you chase. So that's two different options from the Spin spinnerbaits. Give them a try, work them in timber, let them sink down deep, especially when that sun's up and absolutely scorching. Those cod are going to be dropping down into the shadows, trying to hide under the logs, in the rocks, in the holes. You got to get your lures down there to them as well. So sink them down, work them slow, and this is going to be the way you target the fish with these lures. Now, if you're fishing an edge bite or over rocky outcrops, this is actually one of my favorite lures to tie on, especially even shallow laydowns, so fallen timber. This is one from Demiki. This is the BTC 60. This is a big, chubby style hard body with a little bib on it. This thing is awesome to cast. I've caught heaps of cod on these, walking the banks of rivers, especially when you see nice little in-cut banks or you see trees that are sort of just overhanging. Pop casts in underneath, slowly work it back. It's going to bounce over the rocks. These are fantastic for covering a lot of ground as well, and working in those little tight situations where you may not easily be able to cast in anything else in the range. Or if you want to be bouncing over logs, bouncing over rocks, without diving down too deep and running into everything, this is perfect for that. Because of its thick shouldered profile, it looks like a great sized snack for the cod as well. The good thing about the build of these is that they can be fished fairly fast as well. So you can rip them along like undercut rocks. And because of the way these are made, they're made to be super buoyant, kind of like a old style balsa wood timber lure. These are super buoyant. So as soon as you feel it whack into a tree, pause and just float up really quickly above that. You are targeting around the 4 to 6 foot sort of depth with this lure. So it's not a super shallow one, but it's not super deep. It's just a great all-rounder, which means you can also troll these behind your boat or your kayak, along the banks, along the edges, you know, along drop-offs, things like that. So just a great all-rounder. It's going to cover you for both the dams and the river fish as well. But that's it for the Tackle Club COD box this month. If you want to check out the COD box or any of the others in the range, just head to www.tackleclub.com.au. Have yourself a very merry Fishmas, and welcome to the club.